À-bas-le-ciel.
For me as a vegan, it's easy to be self-righteous. It's easy for me to say, shut it all down, smash all the cages, set all the animals free. That's easy, you know? But the whole reason why my YouTube channel exists is that I'm not really interested in easy answers to complicated questions. I'm interested in dealing with all the murky, complicated, you know, moral gray areas.
À-bas-le-ciel.
There's always been a kind of theatricality to YouTube. And theatrical does not necessarily mean fake or phony or insincere. But I really do not hold it against other people if, in their criticisms of me, if they're in their disagreements with me, they are a bit, shall we say, over the top. Some of my videos, I speak in a very down-to-earth way, exactly the same way I'd talk to you if we were face-to-face in a coffee shop. And in a few here and there, I get a bit theatrical myself. I have a hilarious video where I'm denouncing Ryan from Happy Healthy Vegan as a fake vegan. I laugh at it myself. Did I have any emotional investment in that dispute with Ryan? Zero. It's nothing to me. Being dramatic doesn't mean you're being dishonest. I mean, the video was also honest. It was giving voice to real concerns and real feelings I have, just in a way that was a little bit unnecessarily aggravated and aggravating. Look, if you really think I'm angry at Ryan this way, you know, come on, get real. It's all a bit of a joke. It's all a bit theatrical. And so I do have a lot of tolerance for, a lot of patience for the antics from some of my fellow vegans. And sometimes people really cross the line, and then I feel the role of people, men of principle, people who are going to stand up on an ethical point, is to say, hey, here's the line, here's where you crossed it. It's all fun and games until someone loses an eye. And YouTube, in the last 10 years, has left content creators to fight amongst themselves and basically scream at each other whenever they think someone loses an eye. And YouTube sat back and pretended that they'll sort it out for themselves. They'll draw the line as they may. That's changed just in the last couple of months. The way the game is played will now change because for the first time, YouTube is standing up and drawing those lines. There's a difference between theatricality and dishonesty. There's a difference between putting out a video that may be a conflict between two channels and maybe being over the top, being way more emotional and dramatic than you would be if you were talking to the person face to face in a coffee shop or what have you. There's a difference between that kind of heightened life approach to a debate or a dispute on YouTube and presenting an argument that's really dishonest, that's based on lies or concealment. Now, one of the important differences is that dishonesty destroys your credibility, and theatricality doesn't. Look, when a guy like Ask Yourself lies, straight up lies about what Cory McCarthy said and why he said it, when he makes up lies and makes them up in order to justify racism, to vindicate racism, when he's offering excuses for racism, I think he's going to find that destroys his credibility in a way that he doesn't fully appreciate yet.
America was founded by whites, for whites.
There is no question that if you watch this quotation from Cory and Tara in its original context, in the 40-minute context, it is not a mere statement of fact.
America was founded by whites, for whites.
It is totally dishonest and totally misleading for this kid, Isaac, Ask Yourself, it's totally dishonest for him to claim that this is merely a statement of fact. That's his first claim. Then his second claim is that facts can't be racist. Cory himself admits that in that video he was angry, he was being hateful, he was saying hateful things, but you're still making excuses for him on the pretense that there's nothing hateful about this, that it's merely factual. Okay? Your argument is based on concealment and deception and lies. And the people who matter are going to figure that out, whether they're 10% or 1/10 of 1%. That's the audience you should care about. None of us should pitch our content towards the stupidest 60% of our audience. You've got to gear your content towards the most intelligent 10%, 20%. Take your pick. You've got to set a higher standard for yourself. It is very, very clear watching Cory and Tara in context, you can watch the whole 40-minute video, you don't have to take my word for it, that they were making a prescriptive statement. It's not just a dry fact where you can say facts can't be racist. They were making a statement about what was, what is, what should be, what ought to be.
America was founded by whites, for whites.
It's a 40-minute video that this is clipped from. Nobody can watch that in context and think that it's said as a value-neutral statement of fact. And Isaac, ask yourself, his defense of this is to claim, 1, that it's merely a neutral fact, 2, that facts can't be racist. I've never heard someone using that line to make excuses for racism before. 3, that he's not making excuses for racist when he very clearly is. And 4, to then treat this as if Cory McCarthy were in an academic setting just making a comment about something factually true about the drafting process for the American Constitution so many centuries ago. That's a lie. That's a lie, Isaac. And unlike Durianrider's lies, it's not a lie that's just said out of simple malice. It's not a lie that's just meant to defame me or anyone else. You are lying in order to make excuses for racism. You're trying to vindicate someone who is a racist.
America was founded by whites, for whites.
It's also interesting to me that you try to excuse racism by claiming that I'm wrong, that I'm engaging in a psychological claim. I'm engaging in some kind of unknowable leap of inference about someone's personal psychology and motivation in claiming that they are a racist. That's not the way politics works. The word racist, like the word separatist, simply describes a set of goals in politics. Cory McCarthy and Tara McCarthy, their stated objective, their policy objective they're pursuing is racist. I don't have to make any claim about their psychology or their motivation. They have stated that their goal is to kick out all of the non-white people, to exile them. I can say that is a racist political position. That is a racist policy. And you're dead wrong to say that I'm making some kind of tremendous leap of inference as to what motivates Cory McCarthy. In the short term, when you do something like this, something dramatic and dishonest, and you create a conflict between two channels and nothing, in the short term, it increases your number of viewers. And a guy like Durianrider was basically addicted to that. Durianrider kept on telling lies about people, kept on creating new drama, week after week, month after month. And in the short term, of course, he just saw that he was getting more attention. He was getting more fame. He was getting more money. Well, in the last year, that all ended. And Durianrider's conflict with me is a huge part of what ended it, how it ended, why it ended. There's no doubt Durianrider defamed and denounced and told lies about so many other people. But the situation with me was I was the first person to really stand up to him. And he didn't just lie about my sex life or my divorce or my career or all kinds of personal things, which he did, which is serious criminal defamation, and he's now apparently facing criminal charges for that. He lied about little details, like things I said on my channel that anybody could look up. Give you one example, which is, harmless. I mean, it's not defamation in a criminal sense. But, Durianrider claimed that I had insulted the makers of the documentary Cowspiracy. That's a pretty famous documentary amongst vegans. Most people know that movie. That I had denounced the movie Cowspiracy as a bunch of hippie bullshit. Now, anyone can check that claim by going to my channel, typing in the word Cowspiracy in the search bar, and finding my film review. I did a movie review of Cowspiracy back when it was a new film. And you get my nuanced political science perspective on the film, which is quite flattering. It's quite a positive review. Now, this lie may be meaningless. This lie, it certainly doesn't compare to the type of defamation, which now has Durianrider facing criminal charges in court. But as meaningless or harmless as it may be, it still destroys his credibility. And these are the questions of the rules of the game that will always lie outside of, the AdSense revenue scandal. What are they calling it? Admageddon or something? I forget now. But, the questions about demonetization of videos and censorship from YouTube. Nobody is going to censor you for telling a lie of that nature. What was my opinion about a movie in a movie review? But the people who matter in your audience, the most intelligent viewers you've got, the people whose respect you need to earn, the people the people in the long term you should be struggling to build a constituency with, a meaningful level of trust and rapport with. Whether they're 10% of your audience or 30%, they're always going to be a minority. Those people are going to hear what you say, and whether or not they Google it themselves, one way or another, when they find out that your argument is based on concealment and lies, you will lose credibility. Okay? Isaac, aka ask yourself, your whole argument is based on concealment and lies. You complain that other people misrepresent what you have to say. Fair enough. But you are constantly engaged in misrepresenting what other people have to say. And if you feel that in my video, where I mentioned you in passing in about 2 sentences, if you feel I did a poor job of summarizing your view, that's a reasonable criticism. But what's not reasonable is to treat me as if I was speaking about you with malice, when I clearly wasn't. I wasn't intentionally misrepresenting you. And now we have a stack of videos from you in which you do misrepresent my position. You do lie about me, about what I said, why I said it, etc. And you are very clearly doing so with malice. And above and beyond that, look, Durianrider destroyed his credibility. And in the short term, he only got more viewers. But in the long term, now, 1 year later, you see the consequences of that. His channel is hollowed out. His whole status in the movement is profoundly changed. He'll never have the importance that he had before. In the long term, he destroyed himself, even though probably at each step of the way, with each little controversy, with each little instance of slander and defamation, he probably saw a short-term boost in his numbers. I mean, ask yourself, a lot of people have talked to me saying they used to be fans of your channel. And when they engage with you on these issues, the extent to which you misrepresented what they had to say, and then at some point they figured out the extent to which you were misrepresenting what I had to say, the extent to which you have lied and been dishonest and been dishonorable in this affair, it will in the long term hollow out your presence on YouTube, even if in the short term it gets a lot of action. It gets you a lot of attention. Even someone with a channel that's as shallow as Harley's. I mean, Durianrider basically does diet advice, long distance bicycling. He's not really dealing with politics in the same way that Isaac and I are. He's not dealing with those issues. But even for him, when it's revealed that his arguments are based on dishonesty and concealment and deception, even for him, his credibility is destroyed. So, Isaac, you can score some points and you can get some short-term attention with this drama the same way that Durianrider did. But the people who matter, one at a time, however slowly, over months or years, are going to figure out that you're not just being over the top and dramatic. You're not just being histrionic. You're not just being theatrical. You're a liar.
À-bas-le-ciel.